Jeffrey Epstein is a name that still rings like an alarm bell, because his story isn't only about the crimes of one man. It's a story about how power, money, and influence can build an invisible shield around someone for years. He was born in 1953 and started out relatively modestly. But over time, he became a mysterious financier who seemed to appear from nowhere, and suddenly found himself close to some of the richest and most powerful people in the world. Epstein had the key skill of the most effective manipulators. He knew how to be useful. He offered access to money, to introductions, to private circles, to opportunities most people could only dream of. One of the strangest aspects of his life was the sheer scale of it. He owned luxury properties, had a private jet, maintained high-level connections, and even had an island that later became a symbol of dark rumors. That image became part of his myth. When a person is surrounded by elites, many assume they must be untouchable. And if they're untouchable, it can feel as though anything is possible. But behind the polished surface was a reality that reads like a nightmare. Epstein was accused of sexually exploiting minors and running a trafficking operation. The most disturbing part of cases like this is not only the crime itself, but how long it can continue when systems look the other way. Many people still ask, how could this happen in a country with strong laws and powerful agencies? The answer is uncomfortable. It can happen when the victims are treated as nobodies by society, and the offender is seen as a somebody. In 2008, Epstein was already on the radar of the justice system, yet he received an astonishingly lenient deal, one that still fuels public anger and distrust. This became a major point of criticism. Why did someone facing such allegations avoid serious punishment? Why wasn't the investigation pursued properly? Why did the system allow him to carry on as if nothing had happened? When he was arrested again in 2019, the world seemed to erupt. People began searching for names, connections, lists, photographs, flight records, anything that might explain the full picture. The internet turned into a massive detective agency, with everyone desperate to play investigator. But one crucial point matters. Appearing near Epstein's name is not the same as proven guilt. He deliberately surrounded himself with famous figures. It boosted his status and strengthened the sense that he couldn't be touched. That is exactly why his case became the perfect breeding ground for conspiracy theories. Then came the moment that turned the Epstein case into a global legend. He died in custody. Officially, it was ruled a suicide. But the combination of wealthy defendant, prison cell, failures in monitoring, and the number of powerful people he could potentially implicate instantly triggered widespread suspicion. Now, many people no longer focus on the question, what did he do? But instead argue about something else entirely. Who was behind it? The harshest criticism in Epstein's story isn't aimed only at him. It's aimed at society and the system. Because this case exposed how easily wealth can turn crimes into scandals rather than human tragedy. It showed how quickly public attention shifts away from victims and towards celebrities. And it revealed how fast the truth can sink beneath noise, memes, theories, sensational headlines, and the hunger for clicks. Epstein's story isn't just a dark chapter, it's a warning. If society worships status and forgets justice, people like him will appear again. And the most dangerous part isn't that they exist. It's that, for far too long, they are allowed to exist without consequences.